Something huge is happening on the LA waterfront. A massive $500 million project is rising up, and it promises to completely change one of the city's most historic coastlines. Today, we're going to break down the full story of West Harbor, a destination that's been years in the making.
All right, let's get right into it. For decades, this spot was home to the beloved, kind of kitsy Port Sokol village. But that's all gone now, cleared away to make room for a 42-acre, $500 million entertainment complex. This explainer is all about that transformation, how a nostalgic local hangout is becoming an ambitious global destination.
So, what exactly is taking shape on the San Pedro waterfront? Well, this isn't just a simple replacement. It's really a case study in how modern cities are trying to completely reimagine their industrial coastlines. Let's take a look at just how big this vision really is. The plan is, to put it lightly, massive. We're talking about a 6,200-seat outdoor amphitheater that's going to be run by Nederlander Concerts. That's the same group behind LA's iconic Greek theater. And get this, they're adding California's tallest Ferris wheel, a modern food hall, a huge waterfront park, and even things like pickleball courts. It's designed to be a full-on entertainment hub with something for literally everyone.
You know, the developers have been super clear about this. The goal was never just to put up a few new buildings. The real ambition was to create something that could pull attention from all over California and totally reinvent the LA waterfront experience, putting it right up there with other iconic waterfronts around the world. And this right here, this is a huge vote of confidence. The legendary San Pedro Fish Market, a tenant for over 65 years and one of the highest grossing restaurants in the whole country, isn't just staying. Nope, they signed a new 49-year lease. They're moving into a massive new space because, as their owner says, they need even more room to handle all the growth they're expecting.
Okay, so beyond all the cool attractions, West Harbor is being framed as a massive economic engine for the entire region. So let's look at the numbers and a really key concept driving this whole investment, what they call the blue economy. First, let's talk about the immediate impact. The construction phase alone is projected to pump nearly $300 million into the economy. That is a huge injection of capital right into the local area before a single visitor even walks through the door. Now, this is where it gets really interesting when you look at the job numbers. You see over 1,300 jobs created during the build-out, which is great. But, and this is the key part, it's expected to create 1,700 permanent jobs once it's up and running, generating $88 million in income for workers every single year. It's built for both an immediate boost and long-term stability. This whole project also plugs right into what's known as the blue economy. So what is that? Well, think of it as any economic activity that has to do with the ocean, but with a super important modern twist, a focus on sustainability. As we all become more aware of climate change, this sector is expected to just explode. And make no mistake, this is already a massive part of LA's identity. Back in 2021, the blue economy contributed over $14 billion to the county's GDP. West Harbor is basically a huge strategic bet that this ocean-focused industry is only going to get bigger. But hey, a project this big is never simple. It is bound to stir up some pretty strong feelings. So how's the community actually reacting? Is this a moment of pure celebration, or is it a sign of something else entirely? On one side, you have local business and property owners who are absolutely thrilled. They see this as a bold vision for San Pedro's future, something that's going to bring jobs, security, and visitors to the area. For them, this is exactly the kind of investment the community needs. But then, on the complete other side of the coin, there's a deep skepticism. Some longtime residents feel the modern, sleek design, or as one person put it, the shiny, sterile steel and glass huts, is just a total mismatch for the unique working-class culture of San Pedro. And that right there perfectly frames the central debate. Is this a genuine revitalization that's going to benefit everybody? Or, as one person on social media bluntly asked, is San Pedro about to be douchified like Santa Monica, pricing out the very character that makes the place so special? Now, let's zoom out for a second, because this whole local debate is happening just as the area is getting ready to step onto a massive global stage, the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. And that, well, that adds a whole new layer of pressure and opportunity. You know, this is a pretty historic homecoming. The Port of LA hosted Olympic sailing way back in 1932. Then, for the '84 Games, the events moved over to Long Beach. But in 2028, the world's best sailors are coming right back here, to the waters just off San Pedro. The events are going to be split between San Pedro and Long Beach. But as you can see, San Pedro is hosting the majority of the traditional boat events. West Harbor is basically set to be the front door for this huge global audience.
And this is so important to note. The port isn't just building new attractions. It's also been cleaning up its environmental act in a huge way. Since 2005, thanks to their Clean Air Action Plan, they have achieved these dramatic reductions in major pollutants. I mean, look at those numbers. A 90% drop here, 98% there. That's creating a much healthier place for residents and a more sustainable stage for the Olympics.
So when you put it all together, the massive scale, the big economic promises, the intense community debate, and the Olympic spotlight, what you really have is a complete reimagining of one of America's busiest and most historic ports. So with all this money and all this ambition, the question is, can West Harbor thread the needle? Can it really become a world-class destination that brings in tourists and serves a global stage while still feeling authentic and accessible to the diverse communities that have called San Pedro home for generations? That, right there, is the billion-dollar question.